Hi everyone, I'm just going to do this quick tutorial on how you can make a ground model without having to make a new mesh or anything like that by only just messing around with the existing mesh. So usually how I like to do stuff is to have this existing male body reference here, and then I like to import it over from the FBX. So we're going to go ahead and just, let me see, download, we'll go ahead and do the Highwayman. Or no, we won't. We'll just go ahead and do this one right here. Alright. So you got a shirt. Now we got to scale it up to make sure it is in size with the male body right here. So we got to rotate that by 180. Scale it up to about that much. Now, don't take my word for this if you don't want to. Usually it's not much of a bother for me because I'm usually careful when I mess with this stuff. Since you're not really rigging this, you don't have to worry too much about where it is because in Nipscope you can easily edit the transforms and position it to where it needs to be. I wouldn't worry too much about it. So we're going to just go ahead and position this to where the male body is. Or you could work at it with where it is now. I usually just like to move it down because I do it out of habit. So there. I like to hide the male body now. Alright, so usually what I do at this point is I select the mesh, I click S, and then I click Z to flatten it. Now that I have it flattened a lot, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by making an armature. This is what's going to allow you to actually fold the clothing without it looking terrible or anything like that. All the proportions will follow and it will just look nicely when you fold it. This isn't too hard to make, so if you want to follow along with me, go ahead. We're going to go ahead and make a mesh. We're going to go press add and then armature. Once you press that, you're going to have this little kind of prism thing here with two dots at the end, okay? You're going to move that, so Z, Y, you're going to move that to right here where the collarbone would be. To where it's in line with the shoulders. I'm sorry about that. And then you're going to go into edit mode, select this point of the ball right here. And then you're going to rotate it on the x-axis downwards. By the way, let me mention this real quick. Sorry if I did not mention this earlier. If you see, when you have the armature selected, click on this little green guy right here. Click Viewport Display, then click in front, so that way you can actually see what you're doing. So we're going to do that now. So now we're going to lengthen it a bit more. So we're going to move it down all the way to here. Now, if you were working with legs here, I'll show you what you can do after we get done with the arms here. Now what you do is you are going to press extrude. Once you click extrude, you're going to press 1. Then you're going to go back to the dot, and then you're going to click extrude again, and then you're going to do 1, and then negative, so that way it appears on both sides. So, sorry if anything is not working out too well. It muted itself after this. So I'm scaling it up a bit so it fits the shoulders a bit more. You can do that if you want to, depends on the mesh you're using. So around this point now, you're going to click X with both of the dots selected, and you're going to press Z, not Z, but G, and then Y. That way to move it down and get that nice little shape right there. And then you're going to press S to scale it out from each other. And it really depends on how your shirt mesh is. It's the way I was doing it at the time of the recording. But if you want to do it your own way, where one of them is smaller or one of them are bigger than the other, or they're both even, it's your choice. So you do the same method like you did when you were shooting from the shoulders. Then you drag it out to the end of the sleeves there, and you press S again to even it out. So right here, I didn't like the way it was, so I just went ahead and decided to make it fit more. Now that you now that you've done that, if you do have pants, we're going to go over on how you do pants in a second. So you're going to do the same thing like you did for the collarbone or where the shoulders were. You're going to press E1, and then you're going to go out to the middle dot, press E again, 1, negative. It's the same thing you did for the shoulders. Now you might want to make this a bit smaller for the pelvis, but if it fits the pants you're using, then don't worry about it. I made it smaller because that's how it usually has to be from when you're trying to fit it for the pants. And you're doing the same method like you did for the arms. You're extruding both of them downwards. No need to spread them out too much since they're the legs. And it usually has to be extruded down 2 times, but it depends on the pants you're using, so don't take my word for that. Just depends on the pants you're using. Alright, now we're going to move on to linking it now with the mesh. So when it comes to linking it with the mesh, you need to have the armature selected first, and then you select the mesh. And then in the viewport, or anywhere, just click Control and P. And then with that, you're going to click Automatic Weights. So that's what's going to do, is it's going to allow it to flow along smoothly. In order to, once you have everything linked, and in order to actually start doing the posing, you need to go up to where object mode is, which is the top left in the viewport, and then you're going to click the drop down, and you're going to click posing mode. And then all you're doing there is just you're rotating your pivots and everything like that. Now, all you're doing at this point is that you're rotating it a bunch to where it fits your proportions nicely for how you want to position your ground model. Maybe you want to put the arms behind the back, or maybe you want to put them in front cross. It really depends on how you want to do that. So we're going to go, what I did was I decided to put it crossed in front. Once you have everything positioned the way you want it to be, you're going to go down to where the modifiers tab is, and you're going to go apply the armature modifier. Alright, so when it comes to messing around with your mesh, because if you don't like how it's overlapping into the other arm, you want one to be on top of each other, what you're going to want to do is that little top circle up there that I'm going to start pointing to in a second, has a white dot in the middle and has an outer ring. It's going to be right above there. You'll see me edit with it here in a second. You're going to click that. You're going to click the arrow next to it where it has that line, and then you're going to click connections only. It's going to make the mesh move proportionally with it, and it'll make it so much easier to deal with. Once you are done with everything that you have, you are going to select the mesh. You're going to go to export. And once you're in export, you're going to look to the right of the export menu. You're going to do selections only. So you only select, you only export what's selected. And then choose whatever name you want for it. Thank you for watching.